So for this meeting, I'm introducing everybody to Pan. You can introduce yourself, but she's going to do the dream interpretation of Nicole. And this will be part of the data bank for the Institute in South Africa. So that will really be a nice contribution. Okay, you can start. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we would like to be able to record take the recording and make it public. Excuse me, I'm a little bit nervous, so I do have a problem speaking sometimes. So I have to write everything down. I can't think when I talk. So I've written everything down that I wanted to say. But just so you know that this will be posted publicly if Nicole agrees at the end of it. Nice to see you, Nicole, after doing the stream interpretation. So can we go to the slides? What do I do? Just click on it.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
No, you click on share screen and then you have to click on it on your screen and then it'll show up.
Okay. I told you I don't know anything about this. Okay, so I clicked on share screen and then I click on share.
And then you click on the document that you want to share and then that's it.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to make
Right.
And then I must make everybody smaller or else I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so I can start now.
Yes.
Okay. Whoops. I think it ran away with me. Okay, so okay, sorry. Take me a little while to warm up here. So we're going to be doing the logotherapy dream interpretation on Nicole's dream. But before we embark on this on the incredible journey of her latest dream, I've included two touching online, courageously shared publicly by her, online works courageously shared publicly by her, so that we can get to know something about her incredible strengths in becoming the beautiful woman she is today. I urge you to listen to these if you haven't already. The important message or messages that they hold is truly powerful and healing and helps in unraveling the meaningful messages of Nicole's dream. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to just move everything so that you don't have this problem. Okay, so you will notice that I've numbered the slides, and that's because I'd like you not to interrupt during the interpretation of Nicole's dream, please. If you have any questions on any particular slide, we can go back to that during the Q's and A's at the end. When we do an interpretation, we are walking on sacred ground with the dreamer. I will demonstrate the kind of questions a logotherapist will ask. So I wouldn't expect you to respond to all of them, Nicole. But you're welcome to stop me at any time, as it is your dream, and respond as you feel to. Of course, if Batcha, as your trainer, feels that I've gone off track or whatever, with whatever I share, or wants to highlight anything in particular, she may also interject. Doing a dream interpretation with a client can be a long and drawn-out process, and best done through writing backward and forwards to each other to clarify each part of the dream. It would take too long if we tried to do that tonight. So for the sake of time, I've summarized possible answers to Nicole's dream. But it's very important to know that only the dreamer themselves will know the unique answers for their own unique dream. So Nicole, you can stop me anytime to adjust my findings or expand on them. You will see that there's a lot of repetition also, and this really sets the value of the dream for the dreamer who in real life has struggled to make sense of certain aspects of their lives and find answers for any particular problem they are facing in the here and now when the dream comes to them. In the dream, the dreamer's subconscious and spiritual dimension work together to bring understanding and answers to the dreamer's conscience. As spiritual human beings, We already have the answers we need inside of us, which often find a way to the surface of our conscious through our dreams. On slide 2 and 3, you can read over Nicole's dream as she shared it with us. Think about what you believe the dream is trying to say to Nicole about the here and now of her life and what the healing answers and meaning message of her dream could be. The students attending tonight should have already gone over Nicole's dream and so for anyone who is seeing this for the first time, you can pause the slides to read them. Okay, so here's the breakdown, and as we try to discover the meaning message that is held within Nicole's dream. So she starts, I was going to dinner with a friend at a restaurant where we had a reservation. Is it possible that you weren't imagining anything out of the ordinary for your life, and maybe even less than as a result of your past hurts, but your life has actually turned out far more extraordinary and more exciting than you ever expected? Perhaps you have some sense of gratitude towards this particular friend for maybe being a positive influence or inspiration in your life, or just for being there for you on an emotional level. Sometimes someone you can trust who didn't let you walk alone. When we walked in, it turned out to be a banquet for the University of Alaska, where I currently work and am taking a psychology class. In your dream, how would you connect this sudden twist of being more than just a casual outing with your friend? What has changed? That it is now connected with the place where you work and study. Is this where you feel most free to be, most recognized for who you really are meant to be, etc.? Do they know about your interview with your parents and brother and the incredible song you wrote and sang, sang and shared with the world? Do you wish they knew or feel some excitement at the thought of if only they knew? Are you, for the first time in your life, feeling freer now that you've confronted your past and found greater perspective, truths, answers for all that you went through?
Wait, just a minute, just a minute. I want to interrupt you there, Pan, because this is not the class where Nicole talked about her interview with her parents and her whole experience. And if they haven't watched it yet, they won't be familiar. So maybe we should pause at this point and let Nicole tell the class about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in a home with mental illness, and my mom started showing symptoms when I was very young. There were many suicide attempts with my mom throughout my childhood. And on my 16th birthday, my dad took me out to get a birthday present, and we kept calling home, and we knew that holidays were difficult for her. So as we called and she didn't answer, we knew that we had to race home. So we went back to the house, and there was just smoke billowing out of the house. And so I stayed in the front yard, and my dad ran inside. And the ambulance came and took her to the hospital. And it turned out that she had put a cake in the oven at one end of the house and went to the other end to her bedroom and took a bottle of pills. And so she was passed out on the bed. And the ambulance said if we had been 5 minutes later, it might have been too late. The cake had caught on fire in the oven. And I just remember feeling so guilty because there was part of me that wished we were 5 minutes later. And I just remember thinking for so many years, like as a kid, why can't you just stop it? Why won't you just stop? And then she was institutionalized for a while up until Christmas. And all I remember is we visited her one time, but we were buzzed through all the doors of the psychiatric ward, and we were supposed to play Candyland with her as if we weren't sitting in a psych ward. And it was just very weird and hard to process. And I was a must have been a freshman in high school. And so she stayed there till Christmas. And that was her last suicide attempt. They got her on drugs that brought the highs down a little lower and the lows up a little higher. But for 20 years now, she's been kind of numb, and we've had a lot of healing, but not really a fulfilling relationship. So that's kind of the shortest version of that story.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I think that this dream might be about you honoring yourself for how far you've come, a sense of victory over your past. Okay, so once we sat down, Debbie Swindle, the director of the Evangelical Spiritual Directors Association that I'm part of, came over and whispered in my ear, what would you do if you won free college? I recently thought about going back to school for a master's degree, but have chosen not to. And I just began to weep uncontrollably. I couldn't stop crying all night at this banquet. As a logotherapist, I'd first need to know more about who Debbie Swindle is to you at this time of your life. I gather someone you look up to, honor, and respect deeply. Why would you cry so much in your dream when she asked you the question, what would you do if you won free college? Only respond if you want to, Nicole. But did you choose not to do your master's due to financial struggles or something else? Okay. Were your tears happy, grateful tears, or sad tears in your dream? I imagine if they were happy tears and grateful tears, then Debbie's words were very meaningful to you. Could her words have meant that you are beginning to feel acknowledged for who you are, as you are beginning to realize for yourself who you uniquely are?
Wait, Pam, I think that Nicole was going to say something.
Okay, sorry, because I can't see, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it just took me a minute to unmute. I'll leave it unmuted, but I was just going to answer your question.
Okay.
She runs an organization that I'm part of, and last year when I went to a retreat, I was in her small group for one of our sessions, and she gave me a compliment at the end and said, Nicole, I really enjoyed what you shared. You speak like a writer. And I never got a chance to ask her exactly what she meant by that, but it meant a lot to me and kind of goes with a lot of my dreams of writing and whatnot. But I actually don't know her that well. So it's not a real close connection.
But then I gather that what she said to you was such an authentication for you and such a healing. You know, when we're authenticated, we feel seen. We don't feel so invisible anymore. And I think that must have meant so much to your heart. So if they were happy tears and grateful tears, then Debbie's words were very meaningful. I said that, sorry. Could her words have meant that you're beginning to feel acknowledged for who you are, as you're beginning to realize yourself who you uniquely are, in spite of your past? Are you now able to separate yourself from your parents' story? Like someone out there, even the world, is really seeing you for the first time, as you have begun to see and acknowledge yourself and find real answers for your story. And now if they were sad tears, then I would have imagined that perhaps you felt a desperation to feel acknowledged and seen by those who you look up to, or even to be like them. I'm here, can you see me? Because of this invisible complex we have when we've been through something hard during our childhood. But I see those are happy tears. Okay. Several of the people who were putting the banquet on would smile or wink as they walked by me, and I just knew that I was going to win some kind of prize. So then again, I see in this that you are truly beginning to feel that you fit in at last, that you are somebody. You are at last finding a place of honoring yourself and feeling like a deserving winner. you're tapping into a sense of being victorious over your past sufferings. You realize that at last, that you are worthy of being seen, recognized, and heard in this world. And that makes you feel like a winner. You're no longer feeling invisible. You are taking your power back. And I sense that you are feeling an incredible sense of achievement and freedom to be at this time. So just make some kind of noise if you want to come in, and then I'll stop, okay?
Okay.
Then the next thing I knew, I was walking around pushing a hotel luggage carrier with heavy bags with my mom. We were on the top floor of the facility, peering down on the event below. And I was getting ready, really upset, telling my mom that I didn't want to be way up there. I wanted to be down at the event where we had been sitting. By the time we got back down there, everyone was gone and the event was over. Okay, so I have a feeling that you are burdened by an awareness that you're still carrying, pushing the baggage still connected to your mom and your past. But being on the top floor in your dream could reflect that you can now look on your true and current situation from a distance and from a higher position. You have now been able to tell your mom that what is important to you. That's why she's in the position up there with you. You know that she understands your story better now, and her own story too, I would imagine. Now that you've had a chance to share in real life with each other, even though her story in your life still causes you some irritation and maybe even some burden. And that's illustrated by the excess baggage that you're pushing around. Okay, so most dreams interpretations that I do, there's very often seems to be an upper level looking down on a lower level. And this so often turns out to be that the dreamer is able to see the negatives below for what they are from a more transcendent level of being. But in your case, I see something completely different. In the fact that you are high up with your mother and all the baggage looking down on where you wish to be. So another interpretation, which I feel is more likely, is that you are tired of trying to fit in with your mother's high demands or expectations of you to meet her needs. And you just want to live a normal life of your own in a place where you believe you belong in the world. You're looking towards peace and happiness for it to be about you for a change and not all about your mother's needs and her story. I was getting really upset, telling my mom that I didn't want to be way up here. I wanted to be down at the event where we had been sitting. Okay. So when you kept on telling your mom this, could you have been saying that you can't live your life on the level of her needs and high expectations anymore, with all of the ups and downs, but that you know what you want, and the divine power of your human spirit is really standing up for you now, that you've had enough, and although you know that you will to some extent probably always be carrying some baggage with her or for her or because of her, you're also on a more spiritually conscious level now, demanding to have your own beautiful life back on a level that you long for and know could be and probably already is becoming your own true place of being, where you were always meant to be, meant to arrive at and be. By the time we got back down where everyone was, down there, everyone was gone and the event was over. Is it possible that you've come to realize that you could miss out on your own life if you continue to hold on to all that baggage from your past, in pandering to the needs of your mother, feeling sorry for her and working too hard to set things right for her, that you often forget yourself in the process? You can see now that she's been holding you back from living your own life freely. Or by not letting go of the baggage, you could be jeopardizing your own future dreams and happiness, that maybe you've come to value time more, and you realize how precious it is. If your time is not used well, it could escape from you and your dreams. Then we push the baggage cart up on to the stage, and it turns out to be full of books. There were 2 tables lined with books. One was Lisa Bevere's books, and then one had Debbie Swindle's books. I sense that regardless of all the baggage and looking over the life you dream of, you are determined to keep moving forward in the direction of your dreams, regardless of the baggage that still weighs you down. Why is the baggage cart full of books? What is it about books and their authors that is so meaningful to you? Are there authors that you look up to? Maybe you aspire to be like? Have their writings inspired and uplifted you?
Okay,
Do
so
they write?
Nicole has the.
Okay.
What was that? I'm
Looks
just
like you were
listening.
going to answer that. No?
No.
Oh, I was wrong. Okay.
Just listening.
Okay.
Okay. I've forgotten where I was now, so I'm just going to start where I think. Are they authors you look up to? Maybe you aspire to be like? Have their writings inspired and uplifted you? Do they write about things that authenticate your strengths and make you feel good about the woman you have become and are becoming? To maybe be part of something that is far purer and more beautiful than the past you endured. Maybe you feel that your past with your mother can no longer dictate to who you are or where you should be in this world. You are now able to set boundaries with her and speak up for yourself and your own life, regardless of the frustrations and irritations you might still feel over. Maybe how much of your life has already been taken up in the negativity of her behaviors, and the burden that have burdened you. My mom started unpacking the books and putting the wrong books on the wrong tables. Here I can sense your frustration with her having perhaps always somehow managed to be in control of you and your emotions in your life. I was irritated and said, "Can't you read? It's so obvious. Those books over there," as I pointed. I remember those books go over there, as I pointed. I remember having a deep sense of longing for my own author's table filled with my books. Okay, so from this, I imagine that you are taking back your power, the defy power of your spirit, and is saying, enough. This is how things should be in my life. This is how they will be from now on, and not in any ugly way towards your mother, but that you will no longer be confused and allow her behaviors to muddle up your emotions and feelings about yourself, or direct the course of your life, of the way things should be, in their proper place. And you are at last becoming more able to separate your reality into the correct order for you, the sake of your own sanity and peace of mind. And reality and her struggles has also been you. Finally, a man walks into the mostly empty room and looks at me and says, "Congratulations, you've won." I thought, I'm going to have to work to focus on, I'm going to have to quit work to focus on school. But instead of free college, he just handed me a wad of cash, too big to even count. Then he said, "You are extra special, Nicole. You have also won a trip to Fiji." He hugged me and then walked away. So I just wanted to know, Nicole, are you struggling with the idea of how to get back to school financially or time availability wise or anything like that? Did you want to go back to school to complete your master's?
At the university that I work at, they give free tuition. So that's why I was considering to staff members. I was considering getting my master's of science in psychology to become a licensed counselor. So I took one of the prerequisites to see and have hated every second of it. I take the final this week and want nothing to do with continuing in Western American higher education. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I knew there was something going on there, but thank you for explaining. Okay. At this time, is there a sense in you of having finally found your true place? Sorry, it's repeating, but every sentence of your dream seems to do this. So we're just going to keep going over it because the message needs, that's what it's bringing you. Of finally having found your true place and worth in this world, that you are deserving of recognition and reward for overcoming and for finding your way to being your own beautiful person at last. I think that your religious values come into this interpretation also, that you've come to realize that as a spiritual child of God, you are fully loved and accepted by him, and therefore you are no longer alone or abandoned to your struggles or bound, invisible, lost to your past. You are at last in touch with your own specialness, which is no longer hidden under the weight of carrying or dragging around a negative reputation and baggage of a dysfunctional family upbringing, and all the years of your pain and struggle that it has caused you. That what happened to you on your 16th birthday, as awful as it was, had nothing to do with you as a person. It was not about you and was never meant to be your burden to bear or your baggage to carry. You are no longer feeling as if you are identified with the dysfunction of your family. You're truly becoming your own person and freer to be. Yeah, I woke up thinking Tony Robbins has a date with destiny seminar there. Maybe I can plan my trip there and to continue to coincide so that I can go to the seminar. So again, is Tony another person that you might look up to and maybe feel a sense of connection through your own message, which you are putting out there as a motivational speaker as such? I think that you are truly grasping just how powerful your message is and maybe hoping to someday be heard far and wide, just like Tony Robbins is. That this might be your true calling to ultimate victory over your past suffering. Then I woke up and realized it was just a dream. The desire to be a published author is what lingered. So this is your achievement already. If you consider the work that you've already done and the recordings you have put out into the world, your voice is already being heard and your story told. And I believe that this has been very healing as well as exciting for you, that you feel a sense of excitement in connecting with your transcendent spirit and knowing that you are overcoming and becoming more than you ever thought you could be. You might still feel that much more needs to be shared. I think that you may have a sense of real achievement in all that has transpired for you on your healing journey, and you would love for your message to continue to find its way into the world. A book authored by you, even many books, may definitely be on the horizon, waiting for you to write them. Is it something you have already considered? Is it something you have?
Yes. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Hey, can you take down the share pen that we can see each other?
I've still got more to say, so can I finish
Oh,
first?
sorry. Okay, sorry.
All right.
I have, sorry, I was just going to say I have written one book that I self-published, but yeah, have desires for other works.
Oh, that's wonderful. That really shows up in this interpretation. In the previous interpretations I've shared with you and your fellow students, I stated that I don't believe that our dreams are fortune telling. But let me clarify. I do believe that our dreams are a form of personal revelation and a gift to us.
When people hear this new record, Wyoming, I hope that they...
Sorry? Did somebody talk?
Someone's speaker accidentally turned on.
Okay. I do believe that our dreams are a form of personal revelation and a gift to us that helps us to come to answers for current struggles. But I also believe in dreams that come to a selected few by divine revelation, as we have seen in some of the Bible stories? Is it possible also that our own unique spirit knows our true potential long before we do and guides us in the direction we are meant to go? And I could just remember very briefly dreaming about my terrible situation that I was in at the time, and the thunder and the lightning and the dark clouds, and it was such a scary dream, and wanting to save my son from a problem that he was going through. But in that dream, there was, with all this darkness, there was a mountain with a white building on it, and the sun was shining there. And when we interpreted the dream, it was literally saying, let go of the pole that I was holding on to with my daughter, trying to save her because she was my youngest. Let go and walk towards that mountain, climb the mountain and get to that house where you'll be safe. And literally a year later, I was standing on top of a mountain in Israel, which has literally changed my life. That one moment in time has literally changed my life. And somehow I believe that there was something very special about the dream I had and that connection 1 year later. So you never know. Yeah. Anyway, so our own unique spirit already knows exactly where we need to be to awaken our minds and hearts and open our eyes to which way we should go to reach our ultimate potential and true place of being. So finding the meaning message of your dream. Are you feeling the call from life to you, your unique calling, and the task quality of your life in this uniquely personal message that you hold dear and desperately want to share with the world? I feel that in coming to know what it feels like to really hurt and then to heal, you know what you now want to spare others from the suffering, and help them through all the life lessons and spiritual, emotional lessons that you have learned along the way. Where you are now, dear Nicole, is a most beautiful place to be. And as a wounded healer, you now have a most empowering gift to share with the world. And I personally feel deeply honored to be sharing this precious moment in time with you right now, as we walk on this, your sacred ground together, with the interpretation of your incredible dream. Thank you for sharing your dream with us all. And I wish you your most treasured dreams will indeed come true. And thank you so much. Now, how do I stop sharing? There we go. There we go.
Oh, thank you. Should I stop the recording or keep it going?
I would keep it going if the
Yeah.
others are okay with it. Yeah.
Okay, if it's okay with everybody.
Yeah, keep going.
So does anyone have anything they want to reflect on from everything you've seen and heard?
I do.
Yeah, okay, Andrea.
Thanks. How do you pronounce your Pan?
Pan is sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And Nicole, for your dream. Like, that was a really interesting analysis and a fascinating dream. And then not having heard about your history with your mother, like, wow, because I'd obviously read the dream before and I had all these my own thoughts, but that changed everything. And it just made me think about how our dreams are so amazing, because the metaphors of like the luggage and the books and the wrong books and the tables. And then what you said, Pan, thank you for the insight on the lower and upper levels. That's really interesting that crops up. That I hadn't thought about that when I was thinking about Nicole's dream. So it was just like Nicole's dream was so richly laden with imagery that makes so much sense just from the stories that she told us about her mother, and also her own strengths and gifts, of communication, however that might manifest. Books, speaking, helping other people with, who've had difficulties with mentally ill parents. That's a big sort of karmic thing in one's life, I think. So anyway, just wanted to say that I particularly found the upper and lower levels a very interesting way of looking at a dream, because that that was something I hadn't really considered before.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was also just to continue that. I was particularly curious about how by the time she got down to the lower level, everyone had gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so as I felt like what does that mean? You know, that the way you put it, Pan, is she could lose out, but is it like a fear that she will lose out?
Well, I can answer that to some extent, Vati, is like what I'm really struggling with is I am terrified of regret, missing out, never coming to find my true place. And there's the tears. I've been wondering where they are.
Yeah.
And I have been so paralyzed. Some of these words that you're saying, I'm like, I want this to be true. When you said finally finding your true place and worth and deserving of recognition and just being heard, I have just felt like I've tried, I've made that documentary, I've written songs, I've put things out. It hasn't gone completely unseen or ignored. There are people who have watched it and listened and that I've interacted with, but I just for so long have felt like nothing, like there's no traction, there's no momentum, there's no, and like I just still feel like I don't know what to do with who I am. And after trying and trying and trying, I have come to a point of just like I don't know the next way forward.
And so I think that's the meaning message of your dream, was to push forward with the writing, not to give up, because you're in that place now where I think the dream is telling you, keep pushing forward, do those books. Yeah. Sing more songs, whatever it takes. Don't give up. Yeah.
Also, the Nicole, the fact that you dreamt about Tony Robbins and his seminar, like I see that as like the role that you could embody, you know, as a kind of as somebody that helps other women, because when one has an absent mother as a child, that there's nothing more painful. Like it's a lifetime of, you know, but it gives you so much resilience and strength. I mean, I've seen that in friends and myself, you know, when you've had a mother that's not able to mother, it's a very powerful and painful thing, but it's like you're seeing in the dream what your true strengths are. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I wanted to share.
So
I'm
Jeffrey
sorry.
and Anna. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Anna, did I interrupt you? No, okay. Nicole, I didn't see your videos, and so I don't know the background so much, but I don't know what resonates as true. When I read the dream and we went over it, it seemed like in your dream, there were a number of pathways that sort of could lead to your, let's say, success in your own goals, achieving your goals. And that your personal life, as defined in the dream, has pulled you away from those pathways and created a tension that you've had to overcome. That's like, I want to be down there, I don't want to be up here. And but that you had a sense that there are people that are trying to help contribute to your success, free college, some award, whatever, that there are people there in your life in some way trying to help you, but it's sort of on you to figure out, you know, what's it could be. But there's a kind of dependence that you see your life as waiting for these opportunities that are going to sort of finally help you accomplish your goal. So much so that eventually when a different pathway comes up, you get the cash, not the other thing that you might expect, that then your mind goes to, okay, now I might be able to achieve something I want to do with the cash, like going to Fiji or, you know, or going to the seminar. In other words, that there's a kind of definition in your dream of people being the key to you accomplishing what you want as opposed to you. And what you're realizing is that it didn't matter what's offered to you, that actually even with the cash, you actually figure out a way to and somehow move towards something that's of meaning to you, that is in your hands. That's what the dream seems to be about. That it's not all the people that sort of are enabling you to achieve the dream. It's you using every opportunity to get there the way you want to. And it seems that it sort of defines that, but I don't know the context of the videos and sort of all that and whether that's relevant in any way.
It is very relevant. One of the things that I have struggled to overcome is this sense that what I need is out there somewhere, and that I don't quite have what I need to be able to do what I want or need to do. And this concept that it's in me, which Pan talked about at some point as well, that it's already in there, is has been a common theme. But I very much struggle with too many potentialities and feeling like I don't know where to focus my attention. Am I painting? Am I songwriting? Is it poetry? Am I writing, like a book? Am I like how to share? And what exactly is the message? It just feels like too many potentialities. Like zoning in is what I have been struggling on as well.
But you're definitely finding your way just by, you have actually been looking within and writing songs and putting that interview together, and you've been doing it, so I think maybe now's the time to just be open to just what is your heart telling you, which of those potentialities do you need to go to next. But I like your analysis, Jeffrey. It's really I think it's really good. And that feeling like I want to be over there. It seems like makes a lot of sense that would be a theme for a lot of people. I'm here and I want to be over there, and who's going to help me, and who do I want to be with? Who are my role models? So, Anna, you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to also share that a while back, Pen, who I grew to just love, it's so beautiful, did interpretation for one of my dreams, and it was life-changing for me. I did listen to her interpretation. I took it to my heart and I kind of followed. There were things that I was missing from that dream I couldn't figure out. And I just think, Pen, that what you do, it's such a gift, how you break those. And I think very few people, I didn't even truly believe in that kind of stuff fully until I met you. With your dream, Nicole, I think I find myself so much in your dream. And, sometimes the way we think about success, you're so young. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 37.
Yeah, you look even younger, but you are so young. And I think the way sometimes we see success is so twisted almost, and it's simply because we live in the world we do. And you said in few sentences a lot about yourself. You said you went back to school. I'm only guessing why you don't want to have anything to do with it, and what you've been through, and you loving your mom just the way she is. Sometimes loving somebody who is that broken, I'm sure she doesn't want to be that way, and you deserve better mom, and I'm sure she would do anything to be a better mom. But sometimes there's just nothing we can do. And for you to love somebody, just loving her that way, yet letting yourself go and allowing yourself to live your life. And I think focus on everything you already do. You being here, you sharing the WhatsApp message after your accident. You didn't just keep that car accident to yourself. You sent this amazing message to all of us. It made me reflect. Somebody you don't even know somewhere, you're making an impact. You're making impact just that by being you, just having the heart you have. And that is the true success. You can have famous people and known people that I guarantee you haven't had true impact like you having. So don't take away from yourself. You know, the true success in the simplest acts of kindness, the fact that you care, the fact that you truly love. I don't even know you. I would bet everything I have that what I'm saying about you is correct. I have 2 kids who are young adults. And when anybody asks me which college they graduate, I could rave about the college, the degrees but you know what? I always say, I'm proud of them because they're good people. They have good hearts and they care. That's a success, you know.
Thank you
Well-
so much for that reminder, because it's so hard living in a world that's driven by metrics, likes and views and comments. And so we can say, like, well, just make your art and put your message out there and let that be fine, because people are being touched that you will never know. And it's like, some days I can totally do that, and other days I cannot. And I'm like, what am I even doing with my life? But trying to figure out how to just create what's mine to create, put it out there, and not let the metrics make me feel like I'm a waste of life, is really hard. And so it's a good reminder.
Can I say something, or will that interfere with the group because it's not my class?
No, definitely. I just wanted to
Okay.
respond to Anna and say that was so beautiful what you said. You know, I think that anybody who has a mother, alive or not, can identify in some way with how you just have to love. You know, nobody is perfect and nobody's a perfect mother, and you know, and so it really helps. It helped me when you said that. You know, it's like kind of feel that, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna love her and accept her as she was, and thank you. All right, Aviva.
I found this very humbling, and I'm referring to the discussion we had on bias, because when I first read it, I thought, it's not challenging. There's nothing there. It's just there. But listening to it now, I'm just blown away by what is in there. And also it very much helps, Nicole, with what you were saying and how you contribute. This isn't in order. Sorry. I think a lot of there's the 2 things here that, first of all, the interpretation of the dream. I very much feel that a lot of the issues that you have today are because the whole focus of your childhood was on your mother. Your feelings, your wants, your desires, your childhood, everything was not even second place. It was all around your mother, plus living with the fear of her moods and her attempts. And you didn't have a chance. First of all, you didn't have the nurturing that parents are supposed to give to a child so that they know what they want, to learn who they are, to maximize their potentials. You didn't have that. And also the helplessness of wanting to help someone, not being able to. And there was also the guilt. If I was nicer, if I did this, if I tried harder. And that damages the person in the sense that I'm just not good enough. I didn't do enough. So there are those 2 issues that you've carried through to today. And you need to be heard. You need validation. We all do. But, you know, you also said it yourself, and Anna also mentioned it, the fact that, you know, you wanted to help, switching. You wanted to help your mother and you couldn't. And that's why you thought to go through, you know, therapy, psychology to teach it, to learn it. Not for you. But you still have the need to fix people, to save people, to help people. And you're doing that through your writing. But you need to and this is like going to the gym, it's a muscle, but a spiritual muscle. You need to realize that as long as you're doing this for validation, for external validation, and that you need it, it'll never be enough, because it's like a drug, especially today with the internet. You know, you need to work on yourself and focus on the fact that I have something to say. I can help people, and just get your voice out there, get your books out there. It also shows through, you know, in the dream that you were basically given free education. You didn't really state why you're crying, so I'm assuming because it was confusing, because that's what you wanted. You wanted to do those studies, and now you're being handed it and you don't want it. But why don't I want it? Now what do? I'm in an insecure situation, but it always comes back to the books and the writing. And in the dream, you know, you started off in the in the surroundings where you're finally yourself. You've broken away yourself. You're doing something, you're appreciated for yourself. It's nothing to do with your mother or the hurt child that you are within. And then suddenly your mother appears. And again, you know, you're on the balcony, and again, because of your mother, you're being taken away from where you want to be. And you're looking again, and you're frustrated, and it's all the baggage that she's put on you. Then the baggage turns to books. But there's also conflict within you about the books, because it's also the learning, the studies, which you, like on paper, that's what you should do, because we all want to go to a free scholarship, university, and status, but that's not what you want. And there's conflict there, because you've gone again to the writing. And you want to be like these well-known people because they have an effect. But you need to be you. You need to do everything that you do. You need to be you. And, you know what you want to do. You know who you are. You're so self-aware and so incredibly strong. And you know this, but your spirit doesn't feel it. And that's what you need to start making the connection between the spirit and the psyche. There's more, but I'm talking too much as usual.
No, you're terrific insights. So I'm listening with rapt attention.
Yeah. Can
wow.
I go
Okay.
on from this? Exactly from
Can
that
I,
Wait,
can
so
I just
let
add one
Aviva
thing?
say a little more, and then Dita. Okay.
Sorry. And you said you've got all of these potentialities because you never had them. You never had choice. You never had options. And I look at it like you're writing, you're going into a bakery, and you know you want the chocolate croissant. You know it. You love it. You've always loved it. You always want chocolate croissants. But you go in the bakery and you see an almond croissant, a chocolate cake, a biscuit, and you're like, but that looks nice, and I know I like that, and I want that. And you're just standing there like, but I came for the croissant. I want the croissant. It's the right thing for me, but wow. So do all these things. This is your time, because you didn't have these opportunities. Just because you paint or you write poetry, it doesn't mean you can't do your books. You can do anything now. This is your time. And just listen to because you know everything. You know what you want, but you have to shut out all the external rubbish, even within your head, and just go for what your spirit's telling you, because it's incredibly strong and intelligent and kind and smart and beautiful. So that's it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dita.
Great. So first of all, thank you so much, Pam, for your always genius gift of analysis of dreams in that way. And Nicole, I just didn't know that it would be your own dream. I didn't know that, and I certainly have not read it before. But remember, in the beginning, before we really started officially, I said I have fallen in love with you, right? And that is not for nothing, because just to follow up on what Aviva just said, I have always perceived you as an incredibly strong person, and that I have actually perceived you as someone who has kind of healed a long way from the hurt of the past. And just look at what you have created. I mean, this song is so beautiful, not only the writing of it, but you should all, whoever hasn't yet, listen to the way Nicole is singing. It is just incredible. And she's singing not only in that song, but as I understand, in other places as well. And just to follow on what Aviva said, I think I see it the opposite. I see it that your spirit is so strong, and knowing so much, just like Pan was saying, that these kind of dreams, they are, she called it divine revelation. I call it anticipatory dreams, like they know before. I mean, the spirit knows before we can realize something. They give us those dreams, these particular dreams give us hints from what's going to be. And I think the way I see you is that your spirit is so incredibly strong and so incredibly creative. I mean, that channel is open in you, but it is your psyche that still is keeping the baggage and the luggage and the hurt. And that is what is needing to be strengthened. And you kind of, the way I see it, you kind of have to try to believe less what your psyche is telling you. You know, it's like what Teria is calling the pathology of psychopathology. That it's not true. It's not true. All those things. Just don't believe that. And your creativity is just marvelous, and your courage as well, which is also a proof of the defiant power. I mean, the courage to gather the whole family and do that interview, it is so incredible. Such achievements that you have already brought to the world, and yet you are saying to us now, it's the first time that I kind of witnessed that side of vulnerability in you, that you still don't believe that you are being seen for what you are. I can understand that you are still not knowing where you're going to, because indeed you have too many, not too many, but all these potentialities. So I can understand that. But the fact that you still doubt yourself, that is because you believe these doubts of the psyche. And for that, you know, it's like Byron Katie is saying, don't believe your thoughts, don't believe your emotions. So if in your spirit, what I call the vertical, you know, access in you of the spirit, of the awareness, if you remember that all the time, you would become more, you know, stronger and stronger. And what you're doing actually is reclaiming the unconditional worth of who you are, just like Pam was pointing out in every sentence almost of the analysis. She was reminding you who you truly are when you separate yourself from your past. And indeed, you have so much courage in you, apart from this incredible sensitivity and beauty, inner and outer as well. It is most inspirational. Most inspirational. Yeah,
Pan, yeah, Pan, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think it's very important to remember that there's, for abused children, children that have gone through such terrible things, that there is an inner child. And an inner child is never going to really heal. But as an adult of that inner child, we can learn to reparent and to nurture our inner child. So, and also to understand why are we triggered by this? Why are we afraid? You saw me when I started, I couldn't speak. It was like everything just went wrong because I'm already feeling so inconfident and my mother's dithering idiot again, you know? And it takes a while for me to warm up and to feel safe again. But an inner child, I was 68 and it's still happening. It doesn't go away, but but we learn to understand it and to the inner part of ourselves. We learn to nurture, to have compassion for ourselves. And that's where we find healing as adults. Yeah.
And maybe also that we can manage that inner child rather than the inner child would manage us, right? This is
Yes.
what you mean.
But with kindness and love for ourselves, we have to learn to love ourselves.
Right.
I want to say also, Pan, I learned a lot from you in the sense that there were a lot of things that I missed or thought were unimportant, which you pointed out, you know, the people themselves and the effect, what they mean to Nicole. I also wanted to say about guilt, you know, it's a feeling, it's a result of something, you know, and you're allowed to feel guilt, but you need to also say, why do I feel guilty? Okay, I feel guilty because, for example, my son died and I felt guilty. I felt it was my fault until I started working through, could I have done something? You know, so with regards to you, if you feel guilt, I'm not presuming, okay, I feel guilty, but why? Why? Okay, I feel guilty because I don't know, I'm just giving you an example. I couldn't help my mum. Okay, what could I have done? You know, go through, also be logical, be your own therapist, and use self-transcendence towards yourself, towards the damaged part, the hurt part. Be kind to yourself. Treat that part of yourself as you would someone else. You know, you would say to someone, but you couldn't have done anything. So you need to do that to yourself, and you have the ability. You're incredible.
Mm.
Oh, that's it.
Anyone else who hasn't spoken up yet? Margot?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a few remarks. She said when she's told about her mother and the last suicide attempt that she wished her mother dead. And I think she has to take things apart because she wanted the burden to end, not her mother dead. And that will help her with the feeling guilty that she wished her mother dead.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
there's a difference, and I think that will help with the rest of the guilt as well, because she just wanted the burden to end, not her mother. And I think it ties in with her not doing the masters as well. She doesn't want to conform to a superficial system. She wants to go deeper because this superficial system will burden her. So she wants to delve deeper into herself. And yeah, I wrote, and do what the master of the universe assigns her to do, because he's the only one who needs to see it. And 20 million likes doesn't really count if he doesn't see it. That's what I
of the
wanted
universe. I love that, Margot.
That's great, Margot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important what Margot said. I forgot about that, Nicole, that you have to make a disconnect between, again, it's the guilt. You didn't wish bad things on your mother, but anybody, especially a child, you want the pain, the suffering for yourself, quite rightly, to end. It's not selfish. It's you know, it's like, you know, if someone keeps kicking you, you may like them very much, but you want the kicking to stop. It hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even
so
to
you need
take that one level deeper is that my parents had been fighting that morning about, I wanted this expensive pair of tennis shoes for my birthday. And my dad was saying we can't afford it. And my mom was saying, oh, but can't we just get them for her? And finally, my dad took me out to get the shoes, even though he didn't want to. They were too expensive. And so then she's upset after their fight and takes the pills. And so I even remember a couple years ago, I was buying shoes and I was at the store and I could not pick a pair of shoes. And I was like, okay, good Lord, like what is going on here? And it occurred to me like, oh my gosh, even just the guilt that my desires led to this, and the web that has weaved with just desire itself, or needs, having needs at all, needs and desires that are beyond needs, has been something I have certainly been working through.
Because you were never allowed to have needs. And also you have to also tell yourself, it wasn't like the only attempt that she made. So if it wouldn't have been then, it would have been the next day or another day. You know, someone in that condition will do it until either she gets help or until it's done. But yeah, it's a trigger for you, but you also have to analyze yourself like you've been doing and say, okay, this is my trigger. I feel guilty because it was my fault. Okay, but was it my fault? You know, you have to therapize yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, Pam,
because that's also practice.
Yeah.
You know, you have to use your psyche in this case in a positive manner to tell your spirit, hey, you know, what, and if you'd have gone to the park and something would happen, if you could have gone to school, so you shouldn't go to school, you should sit at home next to her. You know, you have to also realize, as much as you are a person and autonomous with your own, everybody has their own human choice and responsibility. She also had it.
Yeah, Pan.
Yeah, just that children, when parents fight or mother tries to commit suicide or whatever, children will very often take the blame and think it was them that caused it. And you'll carry that throughout your life, carrying blame and shame. And that also prevents you from moving forward. And that's, you know, what causes the need to be seen and to be heard, because you feel so invisible because of all the shame and baggage that's, you know, weighing you down.
So do you have a conversation with your inner child, Pan? Do you like make that a regular habit?
I do. I really like self therapy, as was saying. You really think about, okay, where is this coming from? Why am I behaving this way? Why did I say that? Why do I feel triggered by that? So you have to ask the questions of yourself and try and work out a more adult and reasonable response. And I know that if I do this, this is going to be the reaction of the people around me. And so this is how I need to temper it or work it out or whatever. Yeah.
And I so resonate with that. And the spiral I end up in is that the shame and the blame, I know that it causes me to want to be seen and heard. And then I feel shame at wanting to be seen and heard, as though, you know, I'm some narcissist or something. And it just goes around and around.
Right.
Maybe try writing these things down, because when you write something down, you have the connection between your brain to what's being written. And it's also cold, hard facts. Because again, you know the right things, you know, but you're again confused by, I'm not allowed to be me. I'm not allowed to have wants. I'm not allowed to have desires. And the one time I did, and I went and I got those shoes, look what happened. Yeah. My mum tried to kill herself, and that was my fault because I wanted something. See? Gabor Mate is very good. He speaks a lot about the inner child. He's helped me a lot.
Who is that? Who is that?
Gabor.
Gabor, yeah.
Hungarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. Sorry.
Gabor,
I think, yeah, you know everything, but you again with the cake shop, everything is so tied in with guilt, and I'm not allowed to be me. I'm not, and being a child, you know, a child is in a very difficult position. Children are not given choice. They're not given a voice. They can't decide. They can't act. They can't do anything, but they want to. They have the desire to help, to make everything okay, to be themselves. And it's a very confusing time. And worse so in your situation.
Yeah, Pan.
Yeah, gosh. I can't remember. If I remember, I'll do it again.
Yeah, Margot. Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Pam that she had an impact on my life all for more than a couple of months, because I saw her dream interpretations on the channel, and I saw she made a very beautiful interpretation for the dream of Tarja. It was fascinating. So please know that you are an amazing person and to touch people's lives without you even knowing it. So I'm in a position to tell you now, so I want to tell you that. Thank you very much.
Where is this channel, Pam? Where can I hear more from you?
I can write it in the chat, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to put all the dream interpretations into one folder on the,
Wow.
Yeah.
and then I'll let Batcha know and she can let you all know when it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because you really pinpoint.
yeah.
Sorry.
It's really a genius art of you, really, Pam.
Thank
Apart from all your other mostly creative things.
Yeah. What's it? Sorry, you were still
Yeah,
talking.
you remembered what you wanted to say, because I wanted to add something, but go ahead if you remember.
I was just going to say that it also works for daydreams. So people that carry daydream worlds with them. And I did that till my 50s. And it was such an incredible thing to break down in therapy. And to see it was a terrible daydream, lots of torture and horrors, which is a symbolic reenactment of my childhood. I believe that's what it was called, to have that kind of daydream. But in that daydream, there was a certain section where it literally told me what my future, what I'm saying is the meaning message of your dream. It was there in the daydream world. And to find that and to realize that there was always this hope, always this calling. And that's what's happening in even Nicole's dream, the calling to move forward with getting your voice out there. It needs to. So like you talk about writing. I mean, I keep a blog. I write so much that I'm lucky if 3 people take the time to read it. But the writing itself is so healing for me that we need to do it. We must.
What is a daydream?
A daydream is where
yeah.
you're awake and you put yourself in a world of your own and dream about things. To just escape from reality.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah. And I've got that on a video too. It'll also go on that channel. Yeah.
I wanted to add that perhaps going down and finding that no one had stayed there, it might connect to what Aviva has suggested, and maybe some others have touched upon that actually by no one being there anymore, it brings you back into yourself, because actually what was said here is that you perhaps should stop trying to find your worth through others, but to go inside. So perhaps that no one was there anymore symbolizes that you wanted to be there, of course. And by the way, I remember that in the beginning, when you were in the restaurant, you had a sense that you would get a prize, right?
Yeah.
A prize. So that is already a hint for the continuation. That no matter that you got it in the way of money, but you had the feeling that you would get a prize. And and the question now is how to feel that you yourself are the prize. You yourself are the prize.
Yes.
And the way that you would give expression to it can be many ways. I'm interested to know what it was about this book that you told us that you have written already and even published. What is it about?
It's so I started doing house concerts, just concerts in people's house, where as a storyteller, I would take the group of people gathered on a tour of their own story, and we would use the 4 pillars of storytelling to do so, which are innocence, tragedy, contending, which is, when tragedy enters our story, we kind of throw up our fists and say, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. And then resolve. when we are finally able to heal and let people back in and put the walls back down. And I tell my story to invite people to think about their story. And so what I did in 2020 during the lockdowns was that I took that whole experience and I made it a journal that people can do. And I tied it to the songs, like just on a playlist online, and just kind of put that out as a journal for people to do the journey on their own.
That's absolutely awesome. That's incredible, really incredible. The more
It
I
can be
hear
hard
about,
to describe to people because some of these experiences that I like to provide are pretty unique. So a lot of people are like, oh, what? So I just say, it's a concert. It's just come to the concert. But it's very much more than a concert.
yeah, it's a self-inquiry and discovery, and it's incredible. I mean, every time that I hear about what you're doing, is really your creativity is overflowing. Wow. Just remember, you are the prize.
Yeah.
I just want to tell all of you, I am overwhelmed with gratitude, so much gratitude. Batya, for you just creating the space and container and all the hard work you do to gather all of us. And Pan, for what you put into that. We need to get together again, by the way. And everyone that has contributed here, just all the affirmation and the encouragement. I have been feeling for a while, just struggling to feel fulfilled.
Your sound went off. Your sound went off for a minute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we hear you.
Oh, okay.
To feel fulfilled was the last thing you said. Struggling to feel fulfilled.
Yes. And I haven't been depressed, but I have been pretty melancholic. And I did say to someone only 2 weeks ago, I got very flippant with my language. I was just not in a good place. And I said, you know, I'm not suicidal by any means, but maybe it would be better to just get hit by a truck and not exist anymore. And then on 1 week ago, I was hit by a truck. And immediately I went, oh my gosh, I have been taking people for granted and I've been taking life for granted. And it was quite a wake up call. And so now to be here with you guys and to hear, keep going, Nicole, like keep going. You're doing great. And just keep loving people and keep at it is stunning. So just thank you all very much for this hour that you have given me.
Nicole, do you know about Mother Teresa, the Saint Mother Teresa?
Yes.
Do you know that, because I didn't know till a few years ago, and she's one of my biggest heroes. And then did you know that there was she was writing to this one priest that was her best friend? I don't know if you know that piece. And every night she was going home after helping these people and saving the world, as a lot of us see it that way, she was completely depressed. You said you're not, which is great, but she actually was struggling with the same things that I think a lot of us struggle behind the closed doors, you know, and then we compose ourselves and we just do our best. So just the thought came to my mind that also, and Penn was saying it, and she keeps saying it, accepting the fact that it's going to be there. This is going to, there is, you know, always the fight of good and evil, and it happens within us as well. And the evil never misses the smallest opportunity to put us down, because it wants us on the floor, on the bottom, you know. Yeah. So every opportunity, and like you said, you're standing in front of the shoes, of course it's gonna use it, and you're just gonna kick it and you're just gonna fight it. But it's almost like, maybe if you say, you know what, I'm not afraid of we're gonna somehow, you know, learn to, just what Aviva was saying, but you gonna do the self-therapy and you gonna be stronger than that, knowing that it's gonna linger in there, and try again, you know. And sometimes, like, I think maybe making peace with that is a big step too. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it is.
Yeah, I think we have to remember, Anna, that what Frankl says about logotherapy, that every suffering that we endure is actually giving us a task. And so the very thing that we struggle with is what has been given to us in order to shine our light in the world. Isn't it not the way we usually think of it? It's like, oh, if only I was perfect in that area. There's this area that I'm not perfect in, but that's actually the area that's what's going to allow you to be yourself. If you can see it as challenging you in some way, in some positive way, to to find your strength through it, to find how you contribute to the world through that.
I think actually that was the case of Viktor Frankl himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a wounded healer. I mean, everything that happened to him, he what he calls turn a personal tragedy into a human victory, human achievement. And I think you are on that way as well, Nicole. And Pan, of course.
See that I'm writing a poem right now called The Wounded Healer.
Oh, great.
I'll share it when I'm done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. And you can make it into a song too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to know if there's anyone else who didn't have a chance to speak up. If you have something, I'm sure everybody has something valuable to say. And don't want to force you if you don't feel like it, but you should feel free to share if you feel like it.
Nicole, keep going. Keep going. So best days are coming. I think unheard melodies are sweetest. So I think God is going to give you the best days. According to your dream, God is going to establish and fulfill your life. And very grateful to, I don't know how you, Panna, ma'am. Panna, okay. So I'm from India, so pronunciation will be a little difficult for you. So very gratefully, I heard the class. Even dream interpretation for me also, it's a revelation for me. And yes, thank you. It was like a thought-provoking class, and I think God can speak through dreams about our future and how we want to be like. Thank you, but yeah, ma'am, for organizing this.
Yeah, thank you, Franklin, for that for your comments as well. And I noticed that people think of dreams as revealing the psychological unconscious, the instinctual unconscious. And in logotherapy, we're seeing the meaning that's coming through the dream as well. So so it really points the way. It really points the way to understanding yourself.
It's actually the spiritual unconscious that's speaking to us, and the unconscious God in us.
Right.
It's giving us the hints and the meanings, and and that's what Pan is seeing so deep and so wonderfully.
Yeah,
that's so beautiful.
Okay, so should we wrap it up here? I think maybe this is a good place to stop. And I'm going to stop the recording.